Hey everybody, how's it going? Already here. Forgot to dig out my headphones. It's been a long day, long ass day. Uh, how's everybody doing? Welcome to 18. Uh, wait, Tommy, you went away. Oh, damn it. Asked to join. I see it. All right. I'm just gonna do an intro. So tonight we have probably my favorite singer outside of the singer of my own band, which I can't say. I can't say I like Tommy more, but they're the same guys, and it's all fucking amazing stuff that we created in our little stupid world on Long Island. This one is with Tommy Corrigan of Sound Majority. Sound Majority was hands down the best of the best of Long Island hardcore bands, as far as I was concerned. But it took them a long time to get there, and that's what I want to talk about. And I'm going to bring Tommy in right now.
Connecting. Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up, dude?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Sweet. Awesome. What's going on, dude? You keeping it fucking dark in there.
Hold on a second.
Give us some light, baby.
There we go.
There you go. All right. Let's see that pretty face, baby. What's going on, man?
Just
How you
chilling
doing?
and shit. Coming back to getting back to reality after a 6-month hiatus from responsibilities and shit. Just started working a little bit, so it's good, man.
Well. Oh, so you haven't been working this whole time?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
I would have thought Beck would have been fucking like smacking the whip, fucking, come on, let's go. We got to make some more money, make some masks and shit.
Think about it. No concert printing, no, you know what I mean? It's tough out there.
Yeah. No sports, no, like nothing.
Nothing, man. So.
All right. So it's getting back to a little bit of a reality, right?
Yeah. It's getting there slowly but surely. And it's like, I've been just straight chilling for 6 months. So now it's like, fuck, man. It's just like a wake up call. Like, not ready.
Did your daughter start? Your daughter start school yet?
That's a whole other adventure. You know, between like they're there half the week.
Is it
It's like they're there half the week, and then they're homeschool. They're like home learning half the week. It's like a fucking clusterfuck, man.
Yeah. I'm doing Catholic school, dude.
Well, you're a Catholic. You're a Catholic school boy, right? Did you go to Catholic elementary?
You know very well. Yes, I was.
School? Did you go
to
Catholic elementary school? Oh, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Me too, but
I mean, not for the entire time. I went to public school. Yeah, I mean, well, I would expect that, being a solid Irish Catholic boy.
Yeah.
So, what's up, Tommy Corrigan? This is exciting for everybody. Everybody wants to fucking hear from you, you motherfucker. So what I usually do in these interviews is, and I thought about this earlier. I was like, I want to interview every member of Sound Majority. Like every member, like everybody, Steve, everybody. Like, it's like, let's just fucking do it. Fuck it, who cares? Fucking, there's more than that too. It's like Baldwin.
Medford,
like Baldwin's in for a little while. It's like, so let's. I mean, I'm going to give a little diatribe about Sound Majority and how I feel about Sound Majority. Obviously, it's a very intimate sort of relationship that we had, being that I'd known you for so long. Probably since you were like, what, 15 maybe?
No, 16.
16. Okay. And of course I produced Life of Spectator, which was like one of the, honestly, to me, that's like that was such a focal point in the Long Island hardcore scene. And like what you guys were writing and what you guys were doing was so great, but I don't want to get into that just yet.
Okay.
Let's rewind. Splastic Action.
That was the name, man. That was that was it.
So what year was
90. The end of
90.
1990.
Okay, so that was the year that Mind Over Matter. That was the year that Mind Over Matter started. So
Yeah.
you guys were. Sorry, I'm going to unplug the ice machine. Hang on. All right. Sorry. I'm in the basement of my bar. Sorry. So you guys just like got some instruments for Christmas and were like, fuck it, let's play.
Yeah, it was Christmas break of 1990, and we had gotten the Mind Over Matter demo, and we're like, fucking, it's like, you know, we were like, we could do this shit too. And when we first started, it was
Totally
a complete joke band, like, you know, writing funny songs and shit, and that was it. It was called Splastic Action. That was the first name. Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, like you wrote like the Pines and shit like that. You guys were just kind of fucking around. I mean, I remember you guys coming down to rehearsal all the time, and you know, that was, you know, obviously I just interviewed Derek, and it was funny because we would talk about the difference between neglect practice and Mind Over Matter practice. You guys were at both, but Mind Over Matter practice was always very serious, and neglect practice was like a fucking, you know, gigantic party.
Yeah, I think I only went to one Mind Over Matter practice ever. But I went to like every neglect practice.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, neglect practice was super fun.
Yeah.
And so moving on, like you guys, Splastic Action. You never recorded anything. You never did anything. You just. At what point did you guys become Silent Majority?
I can't even remember. It had to have been that following year. Like we realized that name was ridiculous. And I think Rich came up with the name, or maybe Jim Mallon, who was our bass player at the time and friend. Like one of them came up with the name. Yeah, Splastic. Yeah. I think Jim. I don't even know what that means. I have no. It doesn't. Jizzing on shit. Like I don't even do with that. Like I don't know. It's like,
I didn't do the research on that one, so I have no fucking idea. But so I mean, you guys were even the beginning of Silent Majority were kind of still in the jokey version where you guys still played the Pines and you played like everything was kind of still jokey when you were still in the band. You guys, the first song you wrote that you
well, it took 2 years of figuring out how to play the instruments and stuff like that, and then it just progressed from there. I would say it's not. You're in the basement. You're in the one in the basement. I got great Wi-Fi right here. I'm right next to the counter, posted up. I would say the new song. Me too, man. Look, my router's like right over there. New song.
Dude, it's not necessarily our fault.
It's true. It's true. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Doing okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, new song.
Yeah, I think we're doing okay.
New song would be the one. Then when we came up with that, that was it. It was like that was like the first song, like our first banger, street banger, and then we just took it from there.
And I think you guys released that. You guys released that on a bunch of different records, didn't you? It's like
the song was on our demo.
There was like eventually on your last album.
No, It was the new song was on the the Exit Records compilation that we did with all of our songs on it.
Oh, the Mindset Overhaul? Okay.
No, it was on.
Okay, so the first based on true story, of course, yes. All right. So that was a compilation of shit.
Yeah, that was all our 70s and other recordings and stuff.
Right. Okay. So moving forward, like This Island Earth, all the Reservoir stuff, right?
Yep.
So you guys started playing like you guys would play the Angle quite a bit, obviously, because, you know, Artie we were all just like such good friends, and it was like fuck it. And we loved you guys. I mean, you guys were the fucking best, but it really like, for me personally, Sound Majority is a band that, besides Taking Back Sunday, who I always call Taking Back Sunday the most improved band of Long Island history, but you guys had a lot more time. Those guys got good really quick, but you guys like to me, Sound Majority is the epitome of Long Island hardcore. It's a band that took all the influences of everything around it and put it into something so real and so perfect for the time. And, you know, I mean, I get that, like, the type of lyrics you wrote were very, you know, they were influenced by what George wrote. George Reynolds wrote really, like, sort of like at the moment stuff, you know, like very driven by his life. You were very more autobiographical in your songs. Like it's interesting to me to have watched it all happen, and then eventually, of course, produce Life of a Spectator, which I thought was like, I mean, to me, is the greatest Long Island hardcore record of all time, period, end of story. Like, nothing comes close to that record. So what did you guys ever realize, like, what was going on? I mean, like, the musicianship of Rich and Ryan and Ben, like, it was really fucking good. And I imagine that you, like, kind of felt that, right? Like,
I think we knew it sounded good and we were a good band, but I didn't think there were any other long distance aspirations of anything beyond what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't like
of course not.
There wasn't some like, oh, we could do this, we could do that. Like, that never occurred to us ever. You know what I mean?
But it was funny, like, once I remember you saying to me one time, it was like when we went to Europe to tour, and you were like, wow, those guys went to Europe to tour. Like, we should, like, that's awesome. Like, we could actually do that. I remember you actually saying that to me, and I was like, yeah. I never really thought about it either. Like, I just went.
I wish we.
It was just kind of fun. You know, it was like putting out records and shit.
If I have one regret, that's it, that we didn't get to Europe. I wanted to do that so bad. Like, I really wish we could have done that. Like, that's it. That's my one. That's my only.
You would have had to.
That's my only, like, hindsight. Like, I really wish we could have got our shit together and done that. But yeah, that's it. Out of the whole band.
But you guys only did. You did 1 or 2 tours of America?
2.5 or 3.5, like 2. We did like a full U.S. tour to like to Canada, like Vancouver and back, and then we did a couple like half U.S. tours, like 3 of those maybe. That was it, and then 3 summers in a row, 3 or 4 summers in a row. Like, Artie booked the first one on the PWAC telephone, like in the back room, and it was like a winter tour we did. And he hooked the whole thing up through like the Maximum Rock and Roll Book Your Life calls for us, like right from the PWAC telephone. Like, that was the very first one. There was like a winter one that we did. Like, the winter the PWAC closed down. Like, after it was closed, we still had the space, I think, for another month or so. I think the last show was Sick of It All and Us at the PWAC, which is like, I know there was like Christmas, you could bring a Christmas present, like an unwrapped gift for like discounted admission. So it had to have been like mid-December. And then we finished up the rest of the booking of the tour like that month, like in the back dirty ass couches of the PWAC, like already put together the whole thing. It was dope.
So I'd love to talk a little bit about the PWAC, because you were obviously very involved in that. I'm not going to get into the story because I probably told it 1,000 times about, you know, how George Reynolds found it, but like then Artie got it and took over and fucking you guys played the first show with us, which was a benefit show with VOD, I believe. And what does the PWAC mean to you?
No,
like,
we played.
You know, like. Okay. You know better than I do. I mean, you know.
It was dope, man.
I still drink, so my brain is fucked.
And we only had it for a year, where it was just ours. It lasted like, and it was just the best shit, man. It was like super close to our houses. We could roll in there, hang out. We had we had 2 pizza places that were giving us free pizza to try and vie for the business to sell pizza to the people going to the shows. So we would knack on all this free pizza and just chill out. One of my most vivid memories is listening to a Jerky Boys album that just came out, like Jerky Boys 4 or something like that, and having like our own listening party to that. And there was like 20 of us in the back room listening to Jerky Boys. And it was like, fuck, like just hanging out in the back room on disgusting, dirty couches. And yeah, it was cool. It was like a little hardcore clubhouse. And I love that place. And then when it all went away, it was like a real blow. It was like devastating when we got that taken away from us. Am I coming through okay?
The service is pretty shitty.
Can you hear me all right, Artie? Yeah, because you're in a bar in the basement, surrounded by rats.
Yeah, that's your. Dude, it's not my fault. I'm coming through fine. That back room was sort of like privates only, style fucking situation. But that space was just like magical. It was so fucking illegal. It was unreal.
Oh, big time.
Like crazy.
One door.
When I think about it now, when I think about it now, it's like that fucking VOD show when it was so out of control, and like the Fugazi show, like all that shit. And it's so funny how like owning a venue now and like dealing with all that shit, how like Fugazi fucking played, didn't even ask any questions. They just fucking showed up and played.
No way.
It's like, yeah, sure, whatever, we'll play. I mean, what were some of your favorite shows from the PWAC?
Fugazi was sick. I had gotten into a huge car accident like a couple days before in my van. I took out nearly half of the whole Long Island hardcore scene because everybody got hurt in my van. So everyone was at that show, like all beat up and bruised. Like people had concussions and shit. And we were in that van going to steal barricades. Like we were trying to find do not cross police barricades, like driving around the streets, and we were going to steal them to use for the Fugazi show. And thank God we didn't get any, because it would have killed people inside the van if the barracks would have been flying around.
Yeah.
7 seconds at the PWAC.
Fucking
that was
hell.
Sick. Fucking A, man.
Oh, such a great show. And that was funny because that was right when they got signed to Epic. They were freshly signed to Epic, and I remember they rolled their van into the venue.
Yeah,
it was like, oh shit, yeah, there's Kevin Second. We were all so excited about it. It's like, but they're kind of selling out right now. But like everyone is.
I want to say that Mind Over Matter show at that show when they played, and I was like, sick.
No, that was he? Because I remember when we played the Northport skate park with them.
Okay, maybe that
Kevin
was it.
Seconds
that was it. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it was that green one.
Yeah,
that was fucking cool as shit. I was.
There was a Hatebreed.
When they played Vitus, that was like one of my.
There was a
Hatebreed
show where I got hit with a chair, like a riot broke out in the middle, and I caught a chair across my back. Like that was good. There was like there was like a certain point that people don't know. For the beginning of the PWAC, our security was the Pagans Motorcycle Club. I don't know if you remember that or not, but the Pagans used to do charity work for the People with AIDS Coalition. So we inherited like one of the most violent gangs on Long Island at that point as our security. And these guys would show up like legit 1% bikers were our security force. And it was like bananas. It was bananas. Like we were stuck with them.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
the first few shows, and it was absolute chaos.
the shit that we got away with back
Oh
then
my
was just
God.
so fucking nuts. You know, like as things got, especially as things got bigger. I mean, you know, we were playing like Carol's Place and like, you know, doing shit like that, and then the Angle, which was the Angle, is when it really
Yeah.
sort of like blew up quite a bit. But like the PWAC obviously is the super legendary shows, and you know Deja won as
Yeah.
well afterwards. But it's fucking crazy. Yeah, I don't know, like fucking the PWAC. Like, all right, so one thing I didn't get to talk to Artie when I interviewed Artie a couple weeks ago. One of the things I forgot to talk to him about was the whole um, what was that fucking Bill O'Reilly show?
Yeah,
Inside
I
Edition.
still to this day have not
It
seen
did. You've never seen it? That's so funny.
I refused
Wow.
to watch it.
I have.
It was
Yeah.
too painful for me. I couldn't watch it.
I'm sure it can still be found on YouTube. But just to explain what this is, it's like I think you guys did like 2 or 3 raves, maybe.
We did two.
If I remember correctly.
We did 2 raves, right? And we made a fucking shitload of money off of these raves, because this was like 95, this was 96, and that would have been the height of raving, like in New York. This was like big time. And we rented it out to these guys. We had like a meeting whether we really wanted to do it or not. And then we figured if we rented out to these rave dudes, we could bank all that money and we could pay every band for that month or whatever, like sick amounts of money. And we like negotiate, like just selling water at these things. I think we made like $7,000 just selling fucking crazy. And that ended up drawing a lot of attention, like that and the VOD show. But what I do remember, this is like the funny anecdote about it. What I do know is that this TV show tried to do an expose to show young people doing drugs at these illegal parties, right? But they sent an undercover team to the PWAC, and they showed up at a Warzone show at the PWAC, and they filmed these kids standing around at a Warzone show. And that is what they had that in with the raves shit. Like all of a sudden you see rabies, and you see like these kids standing around and like illegal rave parties, and it was fucking rabies and Warzone playing. Yeah, but
so ridiculous.
That was once that TV show came
Well,
out.
it's a yeah, you guys were done.
That was it.
I mean, there's no arguing with that. Like it's hard to counteract that. And also, like, you know, like that's for bullshit, first of all, but like second of all, it's like there's just like a culture difference where it's like, you know, like look at Warzone, look at that show. That show was probably great for everybody. And yeah, you guys experimented and did a rave, and they probably got out of control. And I know that obviously there were drugs being done, you know.
Oh my God.
But
yeah.
like it did feel a bit. It felt a bit unfair. I mean, I think I went to 1 rave in my life. I've never done ecstasy, so I don't really understand. But like, you know, which brings me to my next question. Straight edge. So
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. I remember when you drank, and I believe that a party at my house might have been the last night you ever drank. I remember sitting in my kitchen with you, and you were like, "No,
no." The last time I ever drank would have been in Ireland. To that. Yeah, right when I turned 20.
Right.
When I was
the last time you drank in America.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. You win. There you go.
I'll take it as the last time you drank in America.
Enjoy that.
I'm not enjoying it at all.
You got.
I remember you and Rich. I mean, Rich was like that. I remember that one party at my house where Rich passed out, and Googs. I don't know if you remember my old high school friends, but Googs poured baking soda or something over his head, and so he just looked like this giant white monster sitting in the seat.
Listen,
and he got up and he chased Googs around with a knife.
maybe people want to know. Artie's squad of friends, right? They lived in North Belmore, right? They had a clubhouse that was a pit
they lived in
that was
Seaford. They lived in Seaford.
It was a dug trench in the ground off of the Southern State Parkway that hang out in a hole in the ground with carpeting over the roof, like in an underground like lair. That was their squad. Like at the Belmore, like maybe at the New Bridge Road exit of North Belmore.
No, it was actually at the the SOB and Southern State.
Okay.
It was right off of that.
And then that's all you guys.
It was in
all
Seaford.
your friends would talk about at your parties. Like, yeah, we hit the pit. We gotta go hang out in the hole in the ground.
I'm sure it was very inspiring for you to stop drinking.
Yeah.
So I mean, does straight edge mean anything to you, or like is that just?
I'm still 100%.
Is that something that, like, does it have any meaning for you, or was it just something that?
No,
But does it have any meaning for you, or is it like?
No, totally. Yeah. I wouldn't say straight edge in itself, but not getting drunk, getting high, and partying and shit does. Yeah. I find straight edge is kind of.
Okay. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, you felt like you, like.
I just think it's kind of whack that you have bands straight edge for like 2 years, from 1988 to 1990, and people fucking go banana, and then they reunite. Like, I don't know, I'm not into that shit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, you're in your bunker.
I mean, I got it. I'm pretty sure I know what you said. I'm in my bunker. But like, yeah, it was always interesting to me with you guys, like as far as the straight edge thing went, just because I always, you know, half the time I'd look at you guys as bored kids who'd like, oh, they're bored, you know, like they don't have the distraction of drinking like I do. And, you know, like, and you guys would always do somewhat troublesome stuff to fill time. But, you know, I for me personally on Long Island, it was like, oh, cool, I got a designated driver, so I'm good. It's all good. You know, even though I felt like I drove most of the time, no matter what. I never drank. I don't drink and drive, but like, you know, I didn't do that. But if we played a show at the Bond Street, I always drove home and whatnot, you know. But like, so let's get into Life of a Spectator, which is obviously the closest point I had to you guys. I had known you for so long, and we had this fucking grandiose idea at Exit Records. You know, Artie was going to be involved. I was going to be involved, but I was going to be the producer. He was going to bring the bands in. And, you know, we got into, I forget what the name of Ray's studio was, but that studio was, that whole experience was super magic for me. And I you know, cause you guys were so great, but also like, I just felt like you made the best record that Long Island hardcore could have ever had. And it's on you guys, but you can talk about it on your, you know, from your perspective.
Well, I remember the studio itself was in the offices of Suzanne Vega. It was Suzanne Vega's management offices.
Yeah. And
Sean Colvin, who's another like contemporary.
That's where we mixed.
Oh.
We did the tracks at a place over by FIT.
Okay.
And yeah, and I remember I had to work the fucking 2-inch machine, which was ridiculous because I'd never done it before, and I was just like, but we mixed at Shelter. Okay. That was Shelter Island Studios, which Suzanne Vega, whatever. But yeah, continue.
And I remember being super psyched. You had gotten some Quicksand's equipment to use, and we had some of the Allman Brothers equipment to use. I don't know how the fuck that.
Yeah.
And there was like Quicksand amps and some Quicksand guitars. Like that was dope. Yeah. I remember not being prepared. Like I wrote a lot of those lyrics on the train, like Long Island Railroad on my way in there and like in the studio.
Really?
Like, and I remember.
Oh, that's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like most of it, I would say now half of it was written on the train on the way in to record. Definitely. Families fighting.
I mean, that kind of blows my mind. Just because like shit, you were more together than anybody else in the band, as far as I was concerned. You know, like when you rolled in, like you knew exactly what you wanted to do. Obviously, like I was underlining things and going, Tommy, double this and do that, and then you had, I think you had Neil and Daryl come in.
Yeah.
Neil Rubenstein and Daryl Palumbo, and like you were so fucking confident at that point. Honestly, it was not intimidating. I won't say that, you know, because I was like rolling off of all the shit that I had done, but it was like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So for me, I was just like, yeah, dude, that sounds good. All right, cool. And like I really felt like for you, like I could dig in with Ryan and Rich. I could dig in with those guys, and especially Ben. I fucking rode Ben so hard, and you know, like, and he still thanks me to this day in a begrudgingly way. But like when it came to doing the vocals, there really wasn't a shit ton that I added to any of that on a production level, other than like, hey, double this or do this, and you didn't. I don't want to double. Like, all right, cool. I don't care. It was really interesting. It was such a good vibe. And then we moved to the mix, which was at Shelter Island, which was some of the two, like, so Ray mixed it.
Yep.
Ray Martin mixed it. But we got to sleep over there.
It was great. It was cool.
Which was probably one of the more fun nights. It was probably one of the more fun nights I've ever had. So we basically had a sleepover in an incredibly expensive fucking studio. And just sat there and recorded ourselves doing stupid
I remember
shit.
you.
So I
remember you were playing My Bloody Valentine for Ryan and Ben, I think, and you were like, "You gotta check these." We're in like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Some fucking room, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I remember being like, "Yeah, please, My Bloody Valentine." I'm like, "What the fuck's My Bloody Valentine, bro?" Yeah, it was good times, man. I think it took like a week, right? It was like 1 week of going into the city every day and with one sleepover. Like, I don't really think it. And then I think back at the cost, I think it was $5,000.
No, yeah, I got paid $300 to produce it, and yeah. And it was, I believe it was $5,000 or $6,000 for the budget. But I mean, like, to me, all of that shit was well worth it. It was like, you know, the final outcome really just kind of blew my mind. You know, it was like, and in retrospect, like I don't want to toot our own horns, you know, like, but to me, like, Long Island hardcore means a lot more in like now than it did back then, I feel. And you guys kind of exploded after that. You guys became like a headlining band that could fucking draw tons of people.
In Nassau County.
And
not like, you know, let's not get crazy.
Well, so let's talk about that. Like, when you went on tour, were there any hot spots? Were there any places that like people knew who you were?
North Carolina, that's it. And that was only after playing.
Oh, yeah,
played
of course.
there like 2 times a year for 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? And that's how that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's essentially why Taking Back Sunday became a band.
That's 100%. 100%. Because we played there.
Phil was playing bass for you guys.
No, we had brought Eddie's band down there, I think. And like Eddie had a band at the time.
Was Phil playing with Eddie's band?
He might have. Yeah, I think it was Eddie.
No,
it doesn't matter who went down there.
Adam tells a story that Phil introduced Adam to Eddie at a Denny's after a show, and I think that Phil was playing bass for you guys. That's the story that I.
Phil never played bass for Silent Majority. He might have came with us.
Okay, so it must have been Eddie's band.
But we took Eddie's band. I can't remember the name of it. Long Distance Runner or something. I can't remember the fucking name.
Long Distance Runner, yes.
We took one band Eddie's down there to play with him. And maybe that's where he met them. I don't know. But yeah, we're 100% responsible for that shit.
Oh no. Absolutely. So, I mean, how do you feel about all that stuff? Like, what do you, I mean, I know you work for Beck and for years, like, how do you feel about the stuff that came after Sound Majority and like was, you know, like in all honesty, like when people talk about it, you know, like my band is way too old for people to really reference anymore. You guys are a little bit more contemporary, like people know about it, but it's like, yeah, whatever. You guys were way more contemporary. Like, how do you like Sound Majority? I mean, a fucking Brand New or Take Back Sunday or like what are your feelings about that? I have a lot of proud feelings about it that like, you know, this came out of something that we sort of developed.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I was too busy making Taking Back Sunday t-shirts and Brand New t-shirts to even like I was making, I think both of those bands were in a t-shirt war with each other. Like they had like, there was something like Brand New shirt, like don't swing your microphone. And then Taking Back Sunday was like, we're going to swing our microphone. And I was making both of them and we were printing both and we were like double dipping on that action. Like, so I saw that stuff all happen because we were making their merchandise. So it went from, we're printing 3 dozen shirts for Taking Back Sunday. And then the next year we're printing 10,000 and they're showing up in a giant tour bus to load the merch in. So I was still, I was involved with it, but like sonically speaking, listening to the bands, like, I don't know, I think it's cool that what happened, like it's good for them. Like it's not, I'm not like.
Yeah, I mean, I say Daryl probably kind of took a little bit more from you than maybe some other people, but like I would say even Jason from On the Mighty Princes and like the like a lot of these bands were it's funny, like you're like you're different, you're a hard nut to crack, like you're harder than George Reynolds to crack, it's like it's like and George and I obviously are really close, but like it's like what you guys did was so personal. It was so fucking amazing that you could articulate what you did. Like getting specifically into like Cross-Crowded Rooms or Polar Bear Club. Polar Bear Club to me is and I hated Polar Bear Club. It's just my least favorite song on Life of Spectator. Just because of the pop punkness of it.
Okay.
It's like, oh, whatever, like but it's fucking, lyrically it's great. Musically it's great too. It grew on me over the years. And I knew lyrically it was fucking great when you wrote it. But like sitting there, like I put myself back in that seat and thinking about you talking about the age we were going to be and we were going to have our tattoos and the kids we're there now.
Yeah, man.
We're there now. Like you literally predicted the future. You predicted the future.
I did. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like,
I mean, we couldn't predict all of us gaining weight and COVID-19, but like,
yeah, it did. It worked out really.
You should have wrote a fucking.
I should have wrote a song about having like tons of money and shit. And
yeah, right.
Abs.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but like a lot of that shit revolves around, I've had this conversation privately with a lot of people. I've never really talked about it publicly, but like the sort of like Long Island working class upbringing, and then moving forward with like this sort of punk thing, where it's like we were almost embarrassed by people who like made a lot of money. It was like, oh, you don't do that, blah 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 blah, and like. That was like such a bullshit working class bourgeois fucking people keeping us down attitude. Yeah, that's so weird. Which like, somebody like Beck never had because he's a good Long Island Jew, like you fucking did it right. It's like, I'm going to get shit for that. I know I am. But like, I got enough Jewish blood in me to say it, but like it's weird, like that whole, like, even the neglect mentality, the skinhead mentality, shit's like working class, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, you know what? We probably should have gone to college and made some money.
Yeah, I just never even thought about that, the band as a money making thing. It never even occurred to me. It wasn't in the mindset at all. You know what I mean? Like, even after that, when I was in, like, say, Capitol, for instance, like, I would
Right.
give whatever band opened up, we would give them more money. I would sell T-shirts for $5. Like, I didn't give a shit. Like, I missed that window where I could have made money at it. You know what I mean? Like, I was before it, I wasn't active in it while it was happening, and then afterwards it was gone, and I didn't really.
Yeah.
And then any Silent Majority show we played after that was a benefit. It's like I've never, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with same with Monitor Matter, except for one. But like, it's like, I feel like that, but that was like where we came from. Like, we didn't want to. There was never enough. It was all about traveling. What I wanted to do was, Monitor Matter, Bad Trip, all that stuff was a vehicle to travel. Like, for you guys, I think that the reason why, again, I can say you are the epitome of Long Island hardcore, you are the echelon, everything about it, is because you really didn't leave that much.
No.
And you took on that culture. You took on the culture full-heartedly. You did.
Yeah.
And like, you can tell me I'm wrong, but like, the culture of what you guys did was so fucking brilliant. And like, to talk, like George always used to say, I can't convince a bunch of mentally ill kids to be different. I felt like you talked to those mentally ill kids who were in the crowd in a way that helped them. And, I know that's grandiose and crazy, but you did. You fucking did, dude. You did. So, I mean, you take that for what it's worth. So let's I'm going to stop kissing your ass right now and move on to what was the end of Silent Majority? Like, what was, like, because you guys were at the height in like 98, 99. Like, what brought the end of the band besides Ben and Ryan being away? Like, was there something else?
No, that was pretty
besides
much
that, or
no, that was it. Like, we came back and it was just, we didn't have any material. We had written one song in maybe a year and a half, and I came into practice one day and they had already pretty much decided to break up the band. And then when I walked into practice, I was like, oh, okay. And it kind of made sense. Like, I was bummed out for a second, and then it just made sense. Yeah. We had been a band for 10 years at that point, which was an eternity back then. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there really wasn't a grandiose end to the band. It was just a simple discussion, and then that was it. Plan the last show. Print the T-shirts for it. Play it. That was it.
So then, where does Blood Red come in after that?
Pretty quickly after that. Because that last Silent Majority show was in 2000, like right at the January or February of 2000. And I think I was in Blood Red by like a little bit after that same year. And that was just the guys from Inside, which my brother was in that band. And yeah, just started recording with them, playing with them. And like, you guys did pretty well for what it was worth. I mean, the records are really great. I wouldn't say we toured a little bit. We went to California and back, but the shows were fucking horrible. Like, it was just like a nightmare shit. Artie was on the road with us. It was just like wild. Like, the driving around was cool, but everywhere we went, the shows would be canceled, or there'd be 3 people in there. Like, it was just not a lot of powerhouse performances on that tour, but the recordings are pretty good. I like our last 7. I'll go down as the Blood Red, the last 7-inch we did. That's my favorite Blood Red stuff. That's on that 7-inch.
Okay. And at what point did we get to Capitol?
Right. Capitol started right around the time we did the Silent Majority reunion, the first one. And my buddy Dunn from Thieves and Assassin hit me up, said they had some recordings. Do I want to sing on it? And that was it. And I came down, and then that band was super prolific. We knocked out like 3 albums worth of stuff. So, and I loved all that stuff.
Everybody keeps asking about the Advent. Everybody keeps asking about the Advent demo.
Yeah, I see you. I see you. I see it written down there. Advent was the brainchild of Amber and Pablos from Exit Records and Wreckage Records. And I remember them saying, well, Tripface, they had done really well with Tripface, I think. Well, as well as they could with an album like with a Tripface album. And then I think Scott left the band, and then they wanted to still keep that momentum going. And they were like, oh, maybe you should sing, or like they kind of put that thing together. And, you know, I just into it after a while. Like, it's just not my, like what they had got me. Like, I remember them telling me like, oh, you guys to Europe. And I was like, yeah, I could get down with that. And that was, yeah, man, yeah. And, yeah, I played like a couple shows, went to a handful of practices. And, you know, everybody who was in the band was cool, but I flaked on it big time. That's like, I flaked the fuck out on that band. I never even officially quit. Like, I think I'm still in the band.
Yep. Oh,
yeah.
Sick. Well, reunion time.
You know,
let's go. Not even reunion.
Good, you know, people, I get my fucking balls broken about it, but whatever. Every time, like an interview or something, I see all these little motherfuckers right here writing writing advent. Yeah.
What so I remember you like after for a long time you worked at that fucking tattoo place on Wanto Avenue.
Yeah,
off of Wanto Avenue on
Da Vinci Tattoo in Wanto.
Yeah, like that was before you started working for Beck at Merch Direct.
That was right. That was right before.
Or was that right before?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm kind of throwing shit out there at this point, where like life was like kind of weird, you know, during that time, where we didn't know, like, I don't know, like we were all kind of like in between shit, you know, and then like fucking, you know, George and I got signed to major labels and we did different shit and all this stuff. And like you guys, you did the right thing and fucking, you know, had a kid, got married, got a real job. But but you were in Capitol, so, you know, you did have some of it. You know, it's I don't know, like I'm trying to think of people like back in the day who like we should talk about. Is there anybody like, you're like, fuck,
I watched
man.
that. I watched your interview with Artie a couple weeks ago, and like the impact Artie had, like on my life and everyone else's life is like so fucking understated, man. Like I was thinking about that. Like he was the first true punk I ever met. Like he was a fucking, just like, he put up with so much shit when we were in high school. Like you guys talked about a fight that he was in high school in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And let me fucking tell you something. This fucking kid, picture a kid with a mohawk where the top of the mohawk's blonde, right? That flopped, and then the sides of his hair were dyed jet black, right? So it was blonde on the top, jet black on the sides. And in a fucking high school with the most savage jocks you've ever seen in your life. And this fucking kid, I remember, I didn't even really know him at this point. I'm walking by the cafeteria in Lindenhurst High School, which has these giant plexiglass walls on the outside. So it's like a giant fucking aquarium, right? And the whole entire varsity football team was fucking throwing pennies and coins at the freak table, like whipping them across the cafeteria and hitting all the girls.
So who was at the freak table?
It was
I'm sure I knew them all. Who was the freak table?
Freak table would have been like George, Artie, our friend Heather, her sister Shannon. They were like, and then there was like a whole industrial scene in Lindenhurst High School with like cute industrial chicks with like short haircuts that listened to like Bauhaus and Nights Arab and like front two.
They would never talk to
Front
us.
242.
Yeah.
Like, no, we were down with it. Anyway, whipping change. They're whipping change at the freak table, and it hits one of these girls in the head. Artie, in full view, like I'm outside in the hallway. I watch him run, and he jumps on top of the senior football lunch table, right? And picture the circle jerks moshing mascot dude, like the slamming circle jerks guy. That's what Artie looks like on their table. He's kicking all their fucking lunch off the table. He fucking attacks the one dude that threw the fucking penny. Like he's fighting, standing on the table, fighting giant jocks. And this dude grabbed Artie by the throat and fucking choke slammed him into the table. And the whole hundreds and hundreds of kids were watching this shit. And I was like outside, like, what the fuck? This guy's fucking crazy. And then that was right before I really knew him. And then I met him. I'm like, fuck, man, this guy fucking changed my life and shit. You know, like he was so important in booking shows.
I remember a story. I remember.
He was.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing a story like when I first met him about how I think George or John LaFada told me, and like where like one of the jocks held him upside down.
Like he fucking choke slammed him.
Like, was it that?
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
it
was fucking crazy. And
goes when we're in 11th grade, right? Or the beginning of 12th grade. He goes, gets a fucking tattoo, right? A gigantic tattoo on the back of his leg. It's from a 7-inch cover. I don't remember the name of the band, right? But it's a skeleton priest stabbing a dead baby to death with a crucifix.
Yeah.
He gets jumped. He gets jumped by Nazi skinheads out in front of the tattoo shop. Like, gets fucking jumped by Nazis, comes to school the next day with fucking beaten up, popped in the face with a black eye, a fucking Nazi skinhead, then is walking around school with cut-off shorts on with a fully over-lubed up priest killing a dead baby tattoo. Just fucking walking through the halls of school, like, fucking mind-blowing. Like, it was fucking crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean...
I think he would be a pivotal
the, family structure.
No, he had a fucking rough life, man, and he had to put up with a lot of shit. Like, and these fucking assholes we went to school with. But anyway, outside of that, he fucking helped. Silent Majority wouldn't have been a fucking band without him. He booked all our shows, did everything, man.
No, I agree, and you know, like he eventually wound up living with me, you know, after we became friends, and it's my parents I think liked him better than me, but the you know, he's definitely, to me, he's absolutely the most pivotal person of that scene, without a question. You know, like he took everything Tyler was doing, and you know, like he saw everything that was going on and just like blindly didn't give a shit about making money.
No.
Just gave a shit about being punk and having shows and stuff like that. And we met people like that all over the country. But Artie was a really fucking special person, and it's really nice for you to pay a tribute to him, because like I feel the same way. You know, it's like I would not have been, you know, when I joined Mind Over Matter, I was into Sick of It All and Leeway and stuff like that. But you know, he was really him and George Reynolds were my gateway into other bands that I had never heard before. And you know, in consequence, we were probably gateways to you guys, to bands you had never heard before, you know, since we were a little bit older. And it's like, you know, it was cool. And what wound up happening was something that's really special that will hopefully, you know, last a little bit longer. You know, who knows? It's you know,
another Artie story. His
Go for it.
car,
Let me hear it.
his car when in high school was this piece of shit. It was this, I don't know, Ford, some kind of sedan. I don't know, like a 1970s sedan or something like that. Completely covered with hardcore stickers, random stickers all over the whole thing, the front, the side. The illest part is he spray painted "Kill Yourself" on the side of the car. like in fucking silver giant letters, like right at the height of Neglect, like the Neglect demo comes out. Artie spray paints "Kill Yourself" on the side of his car. So he would drop me and Derek off from Neglect after high school. Me and Derek live within 5 minutes of each other. So for a week, Stuffmobile comes down my block and knocks over this guy's garbage cans for like a few days in a row. Like we were hitting it every time, like get the cans. Boom, right? This fucking guy figured out the pattern and saw the Kill Yourself mobile go by, knock over his fucking garbage cans. And he came to my house because Artie had dropped me off. He came to my stoop, banged on the door. My dad answered. And my dad's like, what the fuck? Like, this guy's like on our steps, like seething mad. And he's like, your son and his fucking friends are knocking over my goddamn garbage cans. And my dad stepped back and basically motioned to the guy to unleash on me whatever he wanted to do. Like, so this guy was just like, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck your friends up. And I'm going to get him. And my dad's just like, like agreeing with the guy, like fucking shook the guy's hand. Guy takes off, catches Artie on Sunrise Highway in the fucking Kill Yourself mobile. And I think he kicked Artie's ass on fucking Sunrise Highway because he went looking for the car and found him. And I think he slapped him around and fucking.
We'd have to ask Artie about that, but like, what the fuck, man? Dude, do you remember the Mind Over Matter demo? I don't know if you were there. You probably weren't,
no,
since you were only at one practice. But like, when the fucking neighbor came down, it was like, you need to shut the fuck up, like fucking screaming at us and shit.
I'm trying to sleep, okay?
It's such classic Long Island shit.
Classic. Yeah, man. But I think about that all the time, being like a homeowner and shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of asleep.
No, but imagine owning a home.
Oh, totally.
And you look out your window and a fucking car that says "Kill Yourself" on the side goes up on your lawn and knocks your fucking garbage cans down 3 days in a row.
It's so, dude, it's like, and it's so funny because Artie is so different now. Like, since he's had kids, he's like, his whole fucking demeanor has changed. And like, it's just so funny to think of that guy. Like, I don't think he's embarrassed by it. I think, like he had his thing, and Artie's never been a person to like run away from anything he's ever done. But like, fuck, man. And you're so right. Like the way that he influenced us into being these fucking sort of like weird delinquents. I mean, when he went straight, everybody else went straight after him. I didn't, but like, like it was super funny. And it's not the reason you guys went straight, obviously, because, I feel like you and Rich were both people who probably could have used the idea of going straight before things went downhill. Yeah. But like, like Artie was like, fucking dude, Jesus Christ.
One time,
like he got in that head-on collision and like fucking whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
We were at Carol's, which was for people that don't know, it was a little bar in Island Park on Long Beach Boulevard. I think in the late 90s it was called the C Note Cafe. Like they still kept doing shows there, but in the early 90s, it was called Carol's Place. And when Artie first got his car, we were leaving a show there. It might have been like Berserkers or something like that. And Artie thought he had it in reverse, but he had it in drive. And he drove the car into the foundation of the Carol's Place. Like he smashed into it. And he looked at me, I looked at him.
He was always a terrible driver.
He looked at me and I looked at him and I said, maybe no one heard it. Let's get the fuck out of here. So he tries backing out from the thing. But little did we know, the wall we hit was right where the bar was. So we knocked all the shit off all the shelves, everything. And we were like, let's go. And the entire bar came running out into the parking lot with Artie trying to escape from the fucking parking lot. But there were like bits of the fucking concrete like stuck in the front of the car. Oh my God.
I always remember the stories about you guys pouring salt water into vending machines to get Coca-Cola to sell at the P-Line. This is going to end soon.
We had met these kids in New Jersey that found out that when the water came up on the Jersey Shore and it hit Coke machines, especially like shitty nights, the Coke machines would spit soda out. like just randomly spit a thing of soda out. So we developed this technique of filling a 2-liter bottle, half with salt, half with water. You punch a hole in the top and you squeeze it in the dollar bill slot of any soda machine, and it would automatically shoot all the soda out and all the change for every soda that came out. And no soda machine was safe within 5-mile radius of living here. And at the end of the PWAC, when we knew the PWAC had closed down, there was a soda machine there, and we never knew who owned it. Filled every now and then, like it was there before, and we fucking shot this thing full of soda out of it that we sold at the last Sick of It All show, and then we cut the soda machine up into a million little pieces and buried it in a sump. That the guy came looking for the machine. And we're like, yeah, it's buried in the sump up the street. Fuck. Yeah, man.
Amazing.
Delinquent shit.
Yeah, total. I mean, well, you straight edge kids were always like that. I mean, it's like, you know, while I was sitting home drinking brews, you guys were doing shit like that and or driving me around. But yeah, Rich tried to. Christian just said Rich tried to shoot.
Oh, we had guns. Yeah, oh my god.
You know,
I wish I had.
I'm gonna wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
And I want to. No, we can keep going if you want.
No, I was gonna talk about the guns that we had at the PWAC, but now, you know, let's not. We don't need to get into that.
Well, keep talking. I mean.
Let's just say we all bought legit machine guns.
I love you, dude.
We bought machine guns, and we would run around the PWAC shooting guns and shit. Yeah, all right, yeah.
Well, as long as it was legal, it's all good. I love you, dude, and thank you for
Shout
doing
out
this.
to Justin.
I'd love to do a part 2.
Yeah, we can do a part 2.
Yeah, Squishy Ming is there, and Christian McKnight, and fucking Gonariquez. Like everybody's in the house in the Hizage.
Yeah.
I love you, dude.
Too,
like fucking seriously.
Thank you very much.
Like you're the shit. You were like, you know, I'll never forget the reunion shows at Vitus. That weekend was just like so much fun.
Thank you.
And so cool to be involved in, and you know, you guys are the shit, and you're the best fucking frontman of all time in Long Island hardcore. As much as that means to a small bit of people, fucking
I appreciate
take it for what it's worth, brother.
All right, goodbye, everybody. We broke the internet tonight with like 34 viewers, I think.
No, it's a lot more than that. Trust me. That shit means nothing.
It means nothing.
It's a lot more than that.
All right, bud.
You'll see.
I don't even know how I hang
You'll
up.
see.
I'll just hang
Keep
up.
track of it tomorrow. Just fuck.